Welcome to Guns, Gear, and Guns with Gary Gunderson. I am Gary Gunderson. Today we are going to go over how to disassemble and reassemble the bolt on a Gras rifle for cleaning, maintenance, and inspection purposes to make sure all parts are in proper working order. Disassembly is the same regardless if you do a carbine or a long rifle, so we are just going to take apart the carbine bolt today, since the only real difference is the bend in the bolt. For this disassembly, you will need a screwdriver of some sort and a block of wood or some surface you don't mind potentially messing up, since you will be pushing against the spring pressure to fully disassemble it. One note on screwdrivers for guns in general: try to get some gunsmithing screwdrivers, or at the very least, find something that fits flush and does not have much slop, so you are less likely to strip it out, because you can't exactly go down to the hardware store to pick up screws like these. Also note, these both coming out of Ethiopia, the screw heads are vastly different. This one has obviously been recut at some point, since it is about twice as large and not even, so keep that in mind. To remove the bolt, you need to take out the screw that acts as a bolt stop. It's not very long and will come right out. Be sure not to lose it. Then you will simply need to hold down the trigger as you remove the bolt and slide it out of the rifle. Now you take the bolt, and if you're looking straight on at the bolt face, you twist it clockwise, and then it will pop right off. This is the extractor spring. If it's clean, it usually pops out on its own, but when it's in places like this, and you simply squeeze, tilt down, and pull it out, because this notch here goes in a notch on the bolt face. Then you decock the bolt, and if you're looking at the straight on at the bolt face, it would be going to the right. And there you see the firing pin protrudes out more. And this is where you take the block of wood and press down, and you slide this key off. One thing to note is that this back that looks like a flathead should be aligned with this notch in order to be removed. If you have it in place, and it's twisted either because of use or because someone uses a screwdriver on it, it will not be able to, you will not be able to disassemble it. It'll pull down, but this back cocking piece will remain in place. So be sure that this is lined up, and you simply slide perpendicular to that line as well. Let's take a look at a slightly different angle so you can see how to do it. So looking straight on here, pulling down, and sliding off. And that's really all there is to it, because after that, the cocking piece slides off, the firing pin slides out the front, as well as the spring. So that is the complete bolt disassembled. To reassemble the bolt, simply place the spring back into the bolt body, followed by the firing pin. Then put the cocking piece back at the back in the decocked position, so it's kind of sitting on top of the bolt stem there. And then you get back your piece of wood. And note that this firing pin does have a cutout in the back of it where you slide it on. So once you get it on, it may not be lined up perfectly. So you just twist it so the notches are in line, and it will snap into place. You might want to do that while holding it down still, but I didn't for the sake of this. Leave it uncocked, because the flat of this firing pin will come in handy as you assemble it, because if you notice, this elongated cut here in the bolt face and the firing pin are about to come into play. So you really want the firing pin kind of vertical with the bolt stem here. Put your extractor spring back in place. Simply squeeze it and push down. Sometimes they're a little loose. See, this one's a little loose now, but it should be lined up in here. And if not, you can kind of just hold it in place as you reassemble it. So now that that is in, you see how these two will match up. Slide it on, slide it back, counterclockwise until it is lined up with the bolt. Then you recock it, and it's all lined up. So you simply reinsert it into the rifle. You can hold down the trigger to make it easier, and then screw back in this screw. All in all, it's not too complicated. There's a couple little quirks, such as the notch at the back that can spin freely that you need lined up to disassemble. Another little trick, if this spring does start to come loose as you're twisting the bolt face on, it will stop twisting. So as long as you squeeze it so it's back in place, you can get it completely installed. But all in all, it's not too complicated of a bolt. And like I said, it's the same regardless of if it's the rifle or the carbine. So that's all I really have for today. I just wanted to go over how to quickly disassemble and reassemble it. Once you know what you're doing, this one is actually pretty quick. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I can try my best to answer them if you have any specific issues with the disassembly. Let me know how your Gras are, or if there's some other weird quirks or tips and tricks you have on disassembly. Leave those in the comments below. If you found this all helpful or interesting, please consider supporting me on Patreon, subscribing to the channel, sharing it with others, liking the video, and joining our Discord. Thanks for watching.